This is BBC Tees. It's 8 minutes past 2. See our After 2 guest now on the show today. And it's great to welcome him in. I only know him, and I think a lot of people in the area only know him as Javed. But you do have a second name, don't you?
Javed Majid.
But you are the person who brought big names to this region. Huge names to this region in terms of entertainment, people going out and enjoying themselves. The whole nightclub boom was centred around the clubs that you had and still have, to be fair. It's been an extraordinary ride, hasn't it?
Of course it has. Most of it all, the achievements I've had, I look back, I won't change it for anything. And the best of it all, I would say, meeting my wife, who I love very much in this area. And you take, for example, the Mall. It won Best in UK Award 3 years running. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody, not even Peter Stringfellow. The Club M, that has won lots of awards. And Club M was the biggest nightclub in Europe, second to La Paradiso in Ibiza. So you can imagine these things. I feel that they were great achievements for me. But I thank the people of this area and I must say, thank the authorities, Stockton Council, for allowing me to build such big nightclubs and things like that. I thank all of those people. I couldn't do it alone. Of course, I had fantastic people working with me like Jimmy Dean, and that's, as I said, it's been a great experience.
But your education is something that's far removed from the entertainment business. It was scientific and also technical fields. I mean, that's where you studied it.
Yes. Going into sort of entertainment, it was more accidental than design. I met some people in Sheffield who were working for Bailey organisation, and they encouraged me to come into the clubs, and I became a promotions manager, then assistant manager, then general manager. I was the youngest general manager in Bailey organisation, which was the biggest organisation in Europe. I was the youngest one they had at the age of 25. And then I moved from there to Stockton.
So was it a case that you got into the entertainment field purely by accident, and before you knew where you were the general manager?
Exactly. Yes. And I enjoyed the work. I don't think I would have enjoyed my work which I was qualified for. I worked for a while for William Press when they used to do gas conversions, as assistant surveyor. But that was such a boring, horrible job sitting in the office that when this opening came, I grabbed it.
Did you think that you would stay in it for a long time, or did you think it was something that would tide you over for a little time before something else appeared on the horizon?
No, I enjoyed it so much that I started thinking ahead of having my own club. And then time came. I met Kevin Amer, Mr. Charles Amer, the great man who's passed away recently. His son said that they wanted to sell Tall Trees. And Tall Trees, of course, was next to Kirk Levington. I thought this could be a fantastic opportunity. I could open a club there to compete with Kirk Levington.
Because the Kirk was, and is still in many regards, it's still a huge memory for people in this area.
Absolutely. Jimi Hendrix, all of those top names, Rod Stewart, they came to the Kirk. But, I'm not sorry, but how can I say... I don't enjoy saying this, but since when I opened Macmillan's, that affected the Kirk very much. And, then Macmillan was fantastic. It used to be packed every night, virtually. And that was such a success. From there, I earned enough money to open the Mall.
Going into to Macmillan's and getting word from Kevin Amer, as you said, that Charles Amer wanted to sell it, what were your first impressions when you walked in and saw it? Because part of the original building is still there, obviously.
Yes. I saw the potential straight away. I thought it was fantastic potential. And then Mr. Amer, God bless him, he was a great man, and he had, once he gave a word to somebody, he kept his word. I'm going to tell everybody a secret here now. Mr. Amer will let me put a £330,000, £33,000 deposit, and I had to complete on 1st of January 1985. I could not raise the rest of the money at that time. So we can come out. Mr. Amer was such a great man. He loaned me himself £100,000 through his wife at 5% interest. At that time, the interest rate was 15%. All he said was, son, don't tell anybody else. I want you to have it. Somebody offered him more money for the place, but he kept his word with me. God bless him.
Javed Majid. Javed, it's good to have you in on the show today. Tall Trees, you signed and you got it acquired at the 11th of March 1985, a date which is etched onto your mind, obviously. When you got hold of Tall Trees and you saw the potential for it, did everything follow on from there? Or were there a lot of hurdles to come over? Did at any point you think, actually, is this really going to work?
No, not at all. After Mr. Amer's help, I went flying, totally flying. Nothing held me back. The nightclub was a success from day one. It was torrential rain outside, and the ladies could not walk through the main door because there was a big puddle outside, so we were carrying the ladies in to the nightclub. It was such a success that then we started the Sunday club. We had people coming from as far as London, and the Sunday club only used to open till 10:30. And again, as I said, no regrets. It was a fantastic success. I did ask Sir Harold Macmillan, the actual Lord Macmillan, his permission if I could name the club after him. I still possess the letter which he sent saying, I'll be honoured if you name the club after me.
Fantastic.
So
a lot of people look back at those days in the 80s and at the time of going out when people had a bit of disposable income in the pocket and going out and getting dressed up and having a night out at somewhere like Macmillan's. Those names are now, are up there with things like the Madison and the Kirk and everything. And Bentley's, you had Bentley's as well in Stockton.
Of course, I started Bentley's. I came from Sheffield to open that club. I came after the second week of me arriving here. We closed the club, did it all up, and when we opened it with style, it used to be packed every night. Of course, 77, Saturday Night Fever and that kind of movies, they helped a lot. And the disco scene was flourishing. And of course, Bentley's became one of the top nightclubs of this area. People came from as far as Newcastle. And then Tuxedo Junction was copied from Bentley's. And things like that, So those are the things.
But why Stockton? We seem to have this little hub of nightclubs around Stockton that were all being very successful. It's not a Manchester, it's not a Newcastle, it's Stockton-on-Tees. Why do you think they were so successful in what many people would say, a provincial, northern, industrial town?
I believe if you have quality and class, and if you give the customer the right product, they'll come and buy it from anywhere. Let's look at this desert in Las Vegas, the desert in Nevada, where they opened a casino, and now it's Las Vegas. I believe if you give quality to people, they'll buy it, and they'll come from everywhere to buy it. Look at, again, Club M, middle of nowhere. Quality brings in the people. And quality without cost, high costs, of course, people will buy it.
So you heard right there, Stockton is akin to Las Vegas now. Which is brilliant.
No, because Stockton is a lovely town. It'll come back up again. And the council is trying very hard. It'll come back. Believe me, every time, there is always ups and downs of life. And we proved it with the Mall. I can remember queues and queues of people outside, queues and queues of taxis outside. But it will come back again. All we have to do is try.
Was that a risk? How do you see going into a new business venture? Because you're very busy at this present moment with different things, which we'll get onto in just a moment. But okay, acquiring the old Odeon Cinema on Stockton High Street, which a lot of people will remember, and turning it into the UK number one disco nightclub. Is it a calculated risk? Do you look at all of the variables and all of the options before you decide to put your hand in your pocket and say, right, let's do this? Or do you just have this gut instinct that says, yeah, this is going to be great?
I'll be honest with you, I've never calculated. It's gut instinct, which gets me to the point where I get to. I will tell you, the mistake I made was Bradford. I opened a very, very expensive club there. They called the Maestro. That was much of hard work. But after Bentley's and after Macmillan's, after the Mall, I thought everything I touched would turn to gold. And it can make you overconfident, when you have few successes. I made a mistake there, and I've learned from it. But I spent £3 million on that nightclub, with first club to have ultraviolet taps and gold-plated tiles, tea and coffee served in the toilets, fountains, ladies' hairdressing toilets. I was asked a question by one magazine, "Why, Mr. Majid, why have you put toilets like this in the club?" My answer was, is it the pig which makes the sty, or the sty which makes the pig? If we treat our customers right, if we treat our people right, people will behave properly. My saying at the Mall was, when I used to advertise in the paper, I don't need custom, I need nice people. I wasn't being arrogant, I was just...
So you were treating the clientele with the respect?
Exactly. And no thugs were allowed, no hoodlums were allowed, simple as that.
The club you opened in Bradford, like you said, that was the first blot, if you want, on the landscape. It didn't go according to plan. You say that you put £3 million into that, which even today is a fantastic amount of money. When it goes wrong, how do you bounce back? How do you turn around and think, okay, that's a lot of money that's gone, we haven't made this work for whatever reason. Did it make you more cautious going into the next one?
Of course. We nearly went totally bankrupt in 93, 92, where the banks let me down last minute. Banks have never helped me in my life, and they do not help anybody. It does make you cautious, but then again, if you... hear from the people who say that in America and Britain, that the best entrepreneurs are who have gone down once or twice and come back up. Of course, it teaches you a huge lesson, so you're prepared. Luckily, since the recession hit us now, I was prepared, and now I'm coming back up, and you'll see how big things will be when I'm finished with them.
That's a very powerful last sentence you've just said there.
My father always said to me, reach for the stars. If you get to the moon, it's good enough.
Are you nearly at the moon? Or are you past the moon?
I think I'm nearly at the moon. I hope my talk does not make people think I'm being braggart. I'm a very humble man.
But you have a gut instinct of what you would like to do.
Absolutely.
And you go out and you
absolutely
grab it.
Let me tell you something. Money is nothing. It doesn't bring you happiness. It just makes your life easy. Achievements are the most fantastic thing. If you achieve something, even if you walk up to a mountain, you achieve it. It's a fantastic feeling. If I'm not achieving, I get very depressed. But as I said to you, money's nothing. It doesn't come into it.
Do you think, looking at tall trees, the Mall, etc., that was of its time? Do you think that if you went in with the idea of the Mall today, it would have been as successful?
No.
That sort of strain of business in the entertainment industry?
No. Times have changed. The licensing laws have changed everything. And then again, rules and regulation, especially our nanny state, times have changed totally. A club like that cannot succeed now.
Nanny state?
Yes. You can't smoke. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. Then, health and safety, all of that lot. Let me tell you something. The last government, I'm not politically inclined, but last government left a mess, absolute mess. For example, if we catch a person stealing in our business, or if a person leaves and comes back after 3 years, we still have to provide the job. Simple as that. If we catch somebody stealing, we cannot sack them. It has to go through a certain process, and then you can sack them. I'll give you an example. A lady who worked for us in cleaning the hotel.
No names, please.
No names. Clean the hotel. She left. She said she had a bad back. She left. 3 years later, when the Dole people caught on to her, because she had a house in one for herself and one for her husband, they're separated, but they weren't. They're still living together, but having 2 houses. They caught on to her. They said they said, you go back to your work. She came back. She wanted her job back. So, how can you keep a job for 3 years? When we sorry?
What you're saying is you think that we need to wake up in this country?
Absolutely. The employers are scared stiff. In this country, no entrepreneur wants to do anymore. Because we're cornered. We're absolutely cornered in every which way you can think of. Cost of running a business is so high. Cost of the staff is so high. And if staff do not work, you cannot sack them.
It's 23 minutes to 3. Our after 2 guest, Javed, today, till 3 o'clock. And Stevie Wonder, part-time lover. Why Stevie Wonder? I mean, we had Jerry Rafferty earlier. What is it about the songs that you've picked this afternoon?
Stevie Wonder. This is the song which I used to test on our sound system in Macmillan's. And it just embedded in my mind. And then Jerry Rafferty was the song we used to always play last when people were leaving, and that's been, as I said, a memory. That was the reason.
So they're just ingrained.
Yes.
Ingrained in there. Tell us about your work. Yeah, we know you as the person who brought the developments, who brought the clubs to the area, but you've been very proactive with your work with Charles Viva, plastic surgeon.
Yes, I really, really enjoy doing that work. It's so satisfying. And I call Charles Viva an angel. He's a great, great man. And it's sad he's never been appreciated. This man gives a third of his time for himself, and the rest 2/3 for the poor people. He's at the moment in Pakistan operating. He has done 150 operations so far. I should have been with him, but I had a very important meeting today with Mr. Neil Schneider of the planning, so I could not go. And
this is to do with acid burn?
Acid burns. We are the ones, Mr. Viva and I, who Princess Anne said we were the midwives of Acid Survivors Organization. Yes, we started that in 1998, after Dr. John Morrison met us in my Rotary meeting at Tall Trees. We were the first one to bring Majida. I brought Majida over here to do operations on her face and her eyesight. She brought her little baby with her. We eventually brought death penalty in Bangladesh by shaming them into bringing the death penalty for acid throwing. Now we brought 14-year jail sentence in Pakistan for acid throwing. We are very active in that field. My intention is to build a recovery place for acid burns people. These are mainly young girls who have refused to marry somebody or sort of rejected somebody, and so as a revenge they've thrown acid. Acid burns are the most horrendous thing. Every time, I'm not ashamed to say this, every year when I take my team, I cry after seeing the pain and the horrendous things they go through. I've even said to people, it's better to kill a person than to throw acid on them, because they die 1,000 deaths a day.
So since the early 90s, I believe, is when you first became aware of this, and you've been working with...
Mid-90s.
Mid-90s. And then last year, in March of last year, a reception at the High Commission of Pakistan in London with the Princess Royal, and you got the honour. Does that mean a lot to you, to have an honour bestowed?
I'm a very humble man. If any honour is bestowed on me, it humbles me more. And it makes me do more, because you feel that you're appreciated. Let me tell you something. When I see old women take their hijab off their head and say prayers for me, that's a great honour. When they see I'm helping them and helping their children, that's a great honour. As I said, it is an honour. It humbles me.
That's some work that you've been very closely linked with, and you've been honoured by the Acid Survivors Trust International, the Acid Survivors Foundation of Pakistan, but you're also an active patron of several worldwide charities as well.
Yes, I don't like mentioning that, but I'm in, protection of children. That's another thing. Wherever we can help, we just help. I've just been asked by international organization to help with women trafficking, which is happening in Europe and everything, to help stop that. I have asked if I would love to join in with this, but I want to take an active part. So I go to places and see where it starts and how to stop it.
So do people ask you to see if you will lend your support to a cause? Or do you hear about it and get in touch and say, I may be able to help here?
I get asked quite a lot, but I rather do things which I find I can do. We will help anybody. At the moment we have a 1,000-acre piece of land in Pakistan, which I'm building a wall around. I intend to put a girls' orphanage there to run by my sisters and my daughters. Also, burns recovery unit there, and a 30-bed burns hospital with the help of Mr. Viva.
So life is very busy still for you.
I like to stay busy. If I don't stay busy, I get depressed.
We're going to talk in our final little slot, if we may, because there's something which has been released today, and the Evening Gazette are running with it as well, about tall trees. Because if you remember going to tall trees, I suppose all good things come to an end. And there's a new chapter which is going to be opening, which we'll talk about in just a moment here at BBC. Javed Majid is our After Two guest today. Just looking at gazettelive.co.uk. Tall Trees owner sets out Yarm luxury living vision. This has been talked about for a long time. Your plans to change Tall Trees. Is it now just about to happen? Are the bulldozers standing by?
The demolition has already started.
Is that hard for you? You built You built up this thing called tall trees that's known around the country, around Europe. You get stopped when you're in Dubai by people who say, oh, I'm from, whatever part of England. And you get talking, and then it comes out that they used to go to Club M Tall Trees. You built this monster, and now you're knocking it down.
You have to move with the time. Nightclubs have gone now, and they are non-viable. And I've accepted it. I have decided that we will build beautiful houses there and make the hotel into a 5-star hotel. So the houses complement the hotel and the hotel complements the houses. You have to move on with the time. As I said, nightclubs are non-viable now, non-profitable.
Why do you want to do it? You could just walk away and just say, I've done my bit. I'm going to go and enjoy some free time. I don't want to use the word retirement, but I just want to do what I would like to do and not have the hassle of planning permission, of trying to get things sorted, deadlines, project managing, things like that. Why do you want to do it?
What I'm doing is not for myself. It's for my children. I'm putting the stones for them to build on. I love being with my youngest and my second youngest. My youngest, who I call my baby. And I love going out with them and things like that. But I still like to be active. If I'm not active, it will kill me. My wife sometimes shouts at me, stop it. But we still have our good times. We go on cruises, we have gone on holidays. My baby doesn't have much time for me now because he's growing up. But what I'm trying to say to you is, if I don't do something, then I get depressed. And I think not doing anything will kill me.
So what's the benefit of this going to be?
Of course, there's a benefit. Of course, I won't be doing it for nothing. I'm not letting the area die. I'm building something more beautiful, which will be viable, which will contribute to the building of my hotel, and which will pay me a good wage. I'm not doing it for nothing.
But you're doing it, as you said there, one of the key bits in that last sentence, you don't want to let the area die.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful area. Listen, we have to fight for everything. And if we fight, we can achieve. Don't give in. Don't throw in the towel. Don't be a defeatist.
Has it been hard getting this off the ground then?
Absolutely.
Has this been one of the hardest projects, if you want? Absolutely.
I get embarrassed sometimes because I used to say, I'm building Tall Trees Grand. And some people said, well, where's the Tall Trees Grand? I tell those people, these bankers, these damn bankers who have destroyed this country, they've destroyed businesses and they've destroyed my dream.
Luxury living on the outskirts of Yarm. That's what you're wanting to do. You're going to miss Tall Trees, though, aren't you, as it stands now? Or do you look at it with the memories of the good days?
Of course. You should never look back. You should look to the future. I'm not... really, if you think about it, yes, I'll miss certain things, but I won't miss Tall Trees. Tall Trees still going to be there. I'll make it even better. And I'll enjoy it. As I'm growing older, I want to grow old gracefully. And now maybe I'm doing things, or maybe I've been selfish all the time, built things to enjoy myself, and other people joined in with me. Now I'm doing something for older people. Soon you'll hear about something which I'm doing, which is for older people.
Well, there is something that has been described as a mega project.
Yes, I can't tell you much about it. I've been told to keep my mouth shut. But
Which I know you're finding hard to do because you want to tell. Yeah, I know, I can see it in your eyes, you want to tell.
Yes, but no, you will hear about it within the next couple of weeks. But I will tell you one thing. It's the mega project, what it will give to Ingleby Barwick and Yarm. A beautiful 60-acre sanctuary park on the river side, where people can go and have barbecues, walk around, and do all sorts of things which they can't do at the moment. That will be my sacrifice. A 60-acre sanctuary park.
And that's one of the things.
So that's one thing which
the mega is still under wrap, but that's one of the things you're going to do.
That's something which I'm going to give them, which, you know, they cannot refuse. It's a gift to the Ingleby Warwick people and the Yarm people. And this park will be a state-of-art park.
Is it in a way a thank you?
Yes.
To the people of this area? That sounds slightly sycophantic. It's not meant to be, but you have made a good career and you've had some great times here in this area with the clubs and everything. Is this your way of saying thank you very much?
Absolutely. I appreciate this area. I love the people of this area. I love coming back. Although I live in Dubai, but I miss my own home. And this is my home. And my people.
It's been good to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me so that I could express my feelings.
Tall trees, the new tall trees, the new and improved, even better tall trees. When is that going to be here, do you think? It's taken a while to get to this point. When is it going to be here?
Within 2 years.
So we can watch it grow?
Absolutely.
All right. You'll have to come back on.
Absolutely.
And tell us more about it.
I'd love to.
And when the mega project is out as well, you'll have to tell us about that too.
That might be able to tell you within a couple of weeks. And you can book me down. It's a mega project. Only one of its kind in this country. And if it succeeds, there'll be another 19 of these. If it's a litmus test, which my backers have given me to build here. It's a litmus test. If it succeeds here, it'll be successful all over the country.
And you want to build it and base it here in this part of the country?
The first one.
You see, I'm intrigued now. And I can see it in your eyes. You've got a naughty little glint in your eye, it has to be said.
Thank you.
We'll see what that is. Trying to get it out of him, but he's not going to break, I'm telling you. Javed, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for inviting me.